Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about, are they interested or just giving me false hope? Okay, so this person was asking me about flirting, because some people are just flirtatious, and how sometimes, because sometimes people are just naturally flirtatious, it can end up giving us false hope and thinking that we have a chance, when really they're just being playful and flirting and stuff, right? They don't mean it seriously. So, unfortunately, there's not really a lot of people can do about this sort of thing. Some people just are naturally flirtatious. And if someone has been naturally, just being flirtatious with you, you might think, oh, maybe this person is really into me. But it might be just that they're just a flirty person and stuff. I don't know if you've ever been in this kind of situation, but sometimes you see people who go to work together and they call each other their work wife or their work husband and things like that, where they're not actually in a relationship, but they sort of like have a bit of flirtatious banter that go on between them, and they call them they just label themselves as the work wife or the work husband, right? It doesn't mean that anything is actually any infidelity is going on here, but it's just like they're just flirtatious. They just have a lot of banter. If you think it's wrong, that's fine, but there are just some people out there that's just how they are. They're never going to be, some people though may cheat on their partners, but other people are just actually just flirtatious, right? And that's just how they work. Perhaps that's how they get through the day, right? Just having a bit of fun, having a laugh with, the other people that they work with or they go to school with, whatever environment that you may be in. Some people are just flirtatious, essentially, okay? So what's the difference then between harmless flirting and someone being interested? Right, someone being genuinely interested. And I think you can tell this because of the sort of like the romantic feeling that sort of starts to manifest around them, right? So if someone is actually into you, they won't just be flirtatious with you and banter with you, right? They won't just be cheeky towards you. They will most likely also treat you way differently than everyone else that they work with. Because if you're dealing with someone who's flirtatious, they probably flirt with everybody and banter with everybody. But if it's solely just for you, and there's also that sort of like that romance feeling as well. And what I mean by that is like, do they get like really close to you? Do sometimes you not just flirt, but you have like really intimate talks about certain things, and perhaps they even say things like, oh yeah, I really like you, and they're acting like that, and they kind of lower their voice and things. If they're behaving that way, then there's probably something more there than just flirtatious banter. Okay, so the best way to know if someone actually likes you is to invite them out on a date, is to ask them out, to say to them like, I really think you're quite nice. I think you're really cute. When are you free to hang out? When are you available this weekend? What time are you available? Right, and asking things like that, because then if they like you, they really want to see you, and they're really interested in you, then they're gonna say, oh yeah, I'm free this weekend. I'm free at 7 o'clock. Let's make this happen. They're going to be enthusiastic about that, and they're going to do something about it. Whereas if perhaps you read into it wrong and they were just being flirtatious, they'll probably just say, oh no, sorry, I don't feel that way about you. Or they'll come up with some other kind of excuse. They'll give you an excuse as to why they can't see you, right? Because maybe they're trying to let you down gently. Because sometimes you'll get responses from people like, especially women, they'll say things like, oh, I don't really know where I am in my life right now, or, I don't really want to date anyone from work, or I don't really want to date anyone that's in my classroom, or things like that. They'll say, things like that. Oh, I'm just focusing on traveling this year. They'll say things like that. But what they're basically saying, what that translates to is, no, I'm letting you down gently. That's what they're trying to say to you. But I don't want to say no to you. I don't want to say flat out no to you because I feel like that would be too harsh. So I'm saying it in this other way, hoping that you're going to read between the lines. Okay? So sometimes that can happen. They may say something like that. So another point though is, do you have a strong feeling that if you ask them out, they would say no? Because, like for example, let's say they're already in a relationship. If they're already in a relationship, if you ask them out or you tell them that you like them, they're going to say that they don't feel the same way and they're not going to go out with you, right? If you know that they're in a relationship or they're married or something else, then you know that, right? Deep down they're going to say no, right? And somehow, you know, sometimes you can just tell if someone is going to say no. You can just tell that perhaps, you know what, I'm not 100% sure, right? And I think there's something a bit off here. And I don't know if this person actually likes me. And you know what? I have a feeling inside of me that if I asked them out, they would say no. So just trust that, right? Because it's probably true. Okay? It might not be true, but it probably is true. So, you know, if there's like a blockage in the way, then you know they're going to say no because they're already in a relationship, or let's say there's someone inappropriate like your boss, and you just know that they're just going to say no to you, then there's no point in you saying anything to them. There's no point in you asking them out. Because you know it's going to be a no, you know it's going to be a rejection. So you might as well just move on to someone that is available, right? Someone that is emotionally available to you. Now, I know some people, though, they continue to have these crushes. And one of the reasons why I think that is, you know, there's a cool quote from Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is, we accept the love we think we deserve, which is why a lot of people cling on to these crushes that are like unattainable, because they subconsciously believe that this is what they actually deserve. They believe that they deserve to be rejected, or they don't deserve to actually find love. And that's a mindset that I had when I was younger, right? So I understand it. And it comes from low self-esteem. So, because someone who has a higher self-esteem, someone who respects themselves, you know, if they get a crush on someone and they realize that it's not going to work out, or they ask them out and they get rejected, they just move on to someone else. Someone who doesn't have a very high self-esteem will cling on to people that, you know, and again, continue to live in their fantasies and daydreams about this sort of thing. It's a sad reality, but sometimes that does happen, right? So the best thing to do is to move on and to find someone that reciprocates. So the first rule of dating that I talk about, the first rule of dating is to not pursue anyone that isn't reciprocating. So once you find out that someone doesn't reciprocate, you just got to let it go and you got to move on. Okay? Unfortunately, it can be very difficult when you're in a work environment or you're at school and you like someone who is flirtatious with you, but you can't tell if they're being serious or not, because perhaps maybe they are just someone who's flirtatious. They just have a flirtatious personality, which is when it's good to observe them and watch them and see how they behave with everybody else. Because if they flirt with everybody and they flirt with them the same way they flirt with you, then it's probably they're just a flirtatious person. Whereas if they're only flirtatious with you and they're treating you differently, then that's a bit more of a better sign that perhaps they're not just a flirtatious person, and perhaps that they do like you. Especially if you can feel that when they're around you, they want to be close to you, and you can feel the kind of like the romance brewing. Right? If you can feel that, then there could be something there. But the only way you're going to know is if you ask them out. Okay? And if you feel like you're going to get a no, and you know, let's say like you're like 90% sure you're going to get a no, then it's probably best to just move on, because that you've got to trust your instincts sometimes. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and if you would like me to discuss something in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.